Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania, in any of the surrounding areas. Please, do me a favor, reach out to me, good local gaming group. It's been asked me to keep that intro a little bit shorter than normal. So, we have another game for you tonight. And again, I'm getting ready to go down to North Carolina with a group of guys from my gaming group. Going down to Brawler's Bash, excuse me again. And that's a 6,000 point tournament. And there's going to be another tournament in May in Williamsburg, I believe. It's going to
Virginia, right?
Yeah, out in Virginia by Ty Wyatt. And in which case, that's a team tournament, which I would love to go to. I really would, because the gentleman who's going to be doing this battle report with me, Ryan, a.k.a. Pretty Boy, up on the 9th Age forums. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, guys.
Would definitely be on my team. It's just my wife is due, and I would be a dead man. So for those of us with married, with kids, and those of us without, you can completely understand. So getting ready to go down to Brawler's Bash, which is in North Carolina, down in Atomic Empires. I believe Ben is the TO of this one again, and it's going to be a good time. We already know a lot of the people going down. You know, the people from Virginia, from Word Gaming in the Balcony. We know One Spittin's group that's going to be there. We know quite a bit.
We've networked a lot for Grail Thrones tournament, which was great. So, yeah, we have the one team tournament coming up in Virginia. I actually played Todd Wyatt in the last tournament. And
he's an awesome guy. If you don't know him, he's an awesome guy. Definitely look into that. If you have a team of, I believe it's 4 players for that, it's kind of more like an ETC style base, but it's more low key. It's more fun but it's still competitive. But definitely look into that. It should be posted up on the 9th Age forums. But with that said, here we are tonight at the Dragon's basement in my house, and as I said, we're getting ready for that tournament. So it's going to be 6,000 points of Ryan's Orcs versus my Dwarves. And again, his name is Ryan. My name is Mark, and here we are with. I love this pick. I want to. Ryan said this is probably a pick from a video game. It's probably absolutely right, but it's a great pick. So here's his list. So me being your opponent, Ryan, when I look at your list, this is first off that Orc on a War Boss seems out of place to me, but after playing it a bunch of different times, I feel it's right. There's nothing wrong with that. If you throw him in a unit, you can only mark him one time per round. The only thing you would have to fear would maybe a cannon shot.
And in that position, because I've actually been asked this on the forums, what I would do is, one, hide him either behind the gargantuan spider, or usually there's some terrain on the field, like a building or a hill or something that you can put him behind. And that's how I can bail myself out of that situation, because a spider's not going to go down to one cannon shot or anything like that. Just move him up to get him into position.
All right, and then let's see. His Common Orc BSB, same thing. Again, with the boar. So when I play against him, he's really he uses them to the max of his ability. He actually stretches that 12-inch bubble so it's truly a 24-inch range, actually 24.5-inch or 25-inch range. And he'll get his orcs, he'll get his trolls, he'll get goblins. So he does a really, really good job using them that way. For the rest of his list, it's kind of self-explanatory. Now, his Cave Goblin, a.k.a. Pac-Man, Ryan, why don't you go ahead and describe him?
Yeah, so this was something I came up one day. I was bored. I was looking at different character builds, and I just found this in the book, and I started brainstorming, and I really like this character build. He's pretty cheap. He's a little under 400 points. And if I lose him, he's not my general, he's not a spellcaster, he's not my BSB, so it's not a big deal. And a lot of people underestimate him, and he does a lot.
You know who he reminds me of? For those of you who obviously people watching this are watch YouTube channels, but Shyhammer. He reminds me of Koopa.
Yeah, he is kind of similar to Koopa. He's like that X factor.
And to me, this Pac-Man is nastier than Koopa. I fear Pac-Man more than I would ever fear Koopa going on the board because I have answers to Koopa.
Yeah, and I think to your point, what's scarier about him is one, he's immune to psych, so he's not going to panic, where Koopa can panic.
Mm-hmm.
Two, he's -1 to hit off the bat because Nashers have hard target, so it's tougher to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
And he also flies with Swift Stride. And flying can come in handy in a lot of different scenarios.
And he negates armor because he's got the Obsidian Sword. So for most of my armies, other than my Sylvan Elves, I rely on my armor to save my rear more than once. In which case, you have the Potion of Strength to go against my my King.
Yep, or anything that's high toughness, really. And the Nasher itself is nastier. He's getting 3 strength 6 attacks.
Impact hits?
He gets 1 impact hit and he gets 1 stomp.
Yeah.
And he's initiative 3, weapon skill 4.
Strength 6.
Yeah.
Makes the King toughness 4 or 5.
He's toughness 4, which is why I gave him the Bluffer's Helm, so you have to reroll to wound against him.
No, I think it's a great kit out. I really do. Everything else, you can turn around. Feel free to pause it, look at it. Any questions, concerns, feel free to ask us up on the forums. Here's my list. And yeah, I know it's small print, so again, feel free to get the magnifier out.
Put your glasses on.
yeah, I'm blind. But it's basically, I took the same list I took down with me to Battlecry and just simply added to it.
The miners are great.
The miners are a good unit. They're scoring. Again, I usually don't use them because I like my solid core. It's like my main force. And there are so many different style builds you can actually do with the dwarves. But my list is more or less my play style. It's at your face. I'm not going to turn around and pop up behind you normally. And I'm just going to turn around and eat you straight ahead. But that's me. Meanwhile, I know there are vanguarding lists, there are secret lists, there are minor lists, there's a whole ambushing list, a whole bunch of different things. And there's no wrong way to play it. So we turn around, and my spells, well, they're chosen. Let me go back a quick pick. They are Gleaming, Brilliance, or is Brilliance one of them? It's basically it's -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and reroll misses.
I was gonna say not everybody knows Dwarven runes, so that might be easier.
Learn them well. So these are Ryan's spells. You drop Savage Fury, which is Frenzy.
Yeah.
You know what? For that spell, I'd actually would like to see it do something more for units that already have Frenzy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it should be if you have Frenzy, you just get +1 attack, like in addition to that.
Yeah.
Or do like rerolls to hit.
Or give it Hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if a unit already has Frenzy, the unit gains Hatred. I like that.
Otherwise, yeah, for this, I actually rolled... Well, I didn't roll any doubles. I just rolled the spells that I wanted, and I don't need extra Frenzy. The unit that I have that's a hammer already has Frenzy, so just drop that.
And Break the Spirit, Totemic Summons, everyone's favorite, including Lord T's, Lord Tremendous. Freaking Totemic Summons. That spell's broken as anything. And that's it. So this is our deployment. This is after Vanguards. And we rolled randomly. We ended up doing, what's it called? The
counter thrust.
Counter thrust, thank you. Counter thrust deployment. There really is no secondary objective other than if you want to control a number of table quarters, you want to have your enemy unit in the opposing deployment zone. You want to have no enemy unit in your deployment zone. You want to stay unbroken, which is having at least 3 scoring units. Your general counts as 2 scoring for that purpose. What's the 4th one? Kill your enemy general.
Yeah. So there's a few. Every single game, these are the ways that you can get extra victory points. But we don't take any of the objectives out of the rule book like we normally would. It's just basic deployment, kill the other man, try to get those extra victory points at the end by doing those. And then we have cards. And each card is a 1-use only. And so what we did during deployment is we don't know what game this would be in the tournament, so we just rolled randomly to see what game we were playing, and then we rolled randomly to see what cards we would have used already, and just minimized our choices and what to pick. And so, Mark, if you want to tell what you chose and why.
Absolutely. So what we did was before placing scouts, but before before scouts, it was before scouts. We had to turn around and declare which card we were using. I chose to flee because that's not my style of gameplay. So I gained an extra 1,000 victory points provided I have a unit choose to flee as a charge reaction, and it survives that flee move. And I'm like, okay, I can live with that. It also allows me an extra D3 to my flee distance, but I have to declare it before rolling dice.
Yep.
And my opponent, Ryan.
Yep. I chose the one. You get extra victory points if you kill your opponent's single most expensive unit or model. You also get the points if you get it below 25%. And I didn't realize this, but I thought at the time it would be his Deep Watch, and actually his king, being a single model, is worth more than his Deep Watch. So it really came down to I had to kill his king or get him down to like 4 or 5 wounds, something like that, to get those points. But
you had to get me below 50%, 50% or less. So you had to get me down to 3 wounds or less.
Yeah. So that was my objective, and the special rule that I get is that I get to choose if I want to go first or second. You don't roll off. And going into this, I actually thought Mark would choose the same thing, which would just force a straight roll off.
Which is, I had the advantage. I think I had +2. Because you still had 1 drop in characters.
No, at that point it says on the card you just do a straight roll off. You don't get modifiers.
I thought it said 2 normal. But yeah, okay.
Because it's counter thrust, so we have to drop one by one. I figured we were both going to pick that one.
Yep, nope. And I chose something different because I wanted to try something different. So Ryan ended up going first. So Orcs Goblin turn 1. And here's how it looks. So I'm going to give you my perspective first, and then I'll let Ryan say what he's going in. So he turns around. This is, of course, after his movement. I think he's rolling for magic at this point. And I see him move his giant, which I thought was a brilliant move, because let me go back 2 picks. There's his giant right between that. And there are my organ guns staring at the giant going, hello. So he turns around, hides it behind a building. That's a smart player right there, especially with the new building rules. And let's see. My one thing is now I'm not worried about his chariots right now. I have free reign as long as I don't kill that Mangler Wrecking Team. I have free reign to move my forces as I see fit right now. Up in the building, you'll see a small green die in front of my warriors with the great weapons. And I'm sorry, let me go through our armies real quick. So spears to the lower left, organ gun, seekers, skirmish vanguard, vengeance seeker, handgunners with engineer in that unit, deep watch with the BSB, clan warriors with nothing but throwing weapons and shields, another unit of deep watch with the king and a runic smith. I've got another unit of marksmen, but this time with crossbows, 5 rangers, vengeance seeker, and then the warriors on the far side. Versus, go ahead, take it from left to right.
So left, I got the wolf chariots hiding behind that National Wrecking Team. And then it's not on the picture, but all the way to the left is my character on the Nasher. Then I've got the cave goblins, giant, played peekaboo behind the house. In the water feature is my 21 orcs with crossbows. I have my artillery all back there. I have my general and my BSB behind them. My scrap wagon. Dead center, those bases are proxied for grotlings. My hand is blocking them, but my feral orcs are behind where my hand is.
And trolls.
And trolls, thank you. And then I have my gargantuan spider next to the woods. And then my National Wrecking Team moved into the ruins.
All right. So, with that said, he turns around and gets a spell off. He puts a +1 strength on them. And actually, I'm sorry. So, explain your movement. We completely missed that.
Sure. So, I'm trying to get something going on the flanks, especially on War Machine Hill, where Mark's organ guns are. I moved the National Wrecking Team up as far as I could, and I moved the chariots behind them because that allows me to move the chariots without fear of a counter charge. If Mark wants to charge them with the Slayers, he has to go through that Nash Wrecking Team. And I'm betting that will kill all 5 of them before he can get to the chariots. If he doesn't choose to charge, I was thinking that he might shoot the Nash Wrecking Team, and then my Goblin chariots are free either to charge into the Slayers or charge into the organ gun on the hill. The Goblins, I only moved up a little bit, so because they were really out of range to shoot with everything at the organ guns, and I also didn't want the Slayers to just charge into them, so they'll shoot a little bit, but they're not going to move too aggressively. And then you can't see it in the picture, but I moved Pac-Man up enough to threaten something if something comes forward, but he's still out of short range from the organ guns. Everything else is pretty stationary. The spider just shimmies up, and then the Nash Wrecking Team goes into the ruins to inhibit Mark's shooting. That if he wants to kill him, he's going to have to step on him. That's pretty much it.
So here we are back to the spider, gets +1 strength. And there is a totemic summons. For those of you wondering what model is that, that is from Privateer Press. That is their troll. That's a mauler. It's their plastic. I actually have a metal one that I still need to paint up, which I think is a little nicer. But during shooting, the freaking totemic summons, breathes fire and kills a dwarf. I can't really complain, but the fact that this free unit came on the board and now has to be dealt with. Oh, that's my one issue. That and random movement. I hate random movement. Over here, that was your catapult or get launcher.
I think it was a catapult. I think it was the catapult.
The
Just
catapult
one got through.
So one thing I've noticed, even with the people I played on UB, even at tournaments, people have been playing the catapults wrong, and it took Joel Flint for me to turn around and see the right way. Was it's area -1. Okay, so Ryan's like, okay, I miss, I hit. I'm like, okay, well, he goes 16. I'm like, no, how many shots what's your area? He goes 4. I'm like, it's area -1. It's 3 by 3. So he goes, oh, all right, well, strength, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's half strength. And I believe that's what it said verbatim.
Yeah, I thought it was just half strength. I didn't realize that you lost area to it as well. But yeah, just keep that in mind. You lose part of the area. And
I won't lie to you, I'm not a huge fan of how the catapult rules are currently written, but it's because they seem a little wonky. But yeah, no, it's just it was a learning experience for me. So Joel, if you're watching this, thank you. So he killed one there. One of the reasons why he only killed one, or I had so little wounds, is I actually have that banner of shielding, and it's 6 inches from the one unit through to the other unit, and vice versa. I made sure that at time of deployment, which granted a 5-up ward save. So during my turn, they move up and touch the Maggot, and they die gloriously. He did 14 wounds.
Yeah, it was just paste.
Yeah.
Those ruins are painted in dwarf blood.
Yeah. No. I have no comments. However, that was 200 points well spent. So here's how the board looks, and for my turn, yeah, let's see, they died. They died for a noble cause. Shooting wise, I killed 2 there. I put 2 on Pac-Man, and those of you who see, there's Pac-Man.
That's the Nasher.
And let's see. So now it's back to the Goblins' turn 2. Ryan turns around and he charges my. So let me go back to that one generic pick. So board pick. So if you look there, I've got my Rangers blocking Chucky, blocking the Spider. The reason why I did that is, yes, I know it's a bad play. However, if I flee and I get away, that's an easy 1,000 victory points. And Junior over there doesn't move for anything. So no matter what, I would be getting that 1,000 victory points if he charged and I fled. So going back, and that's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, back during my magic phase, I had the +1 to wound against him. So you redirected. And Ryan, why don't you go ahead and what was your thought?
So, to be honest, I actually forgot that he got the 1,000 points for fleeing. I don't know if that would have changed my decision or not, but I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, I was kind of not sure what to do with the spider. I didn't want to charge him into Chucky because he had -1 to wound on him, and he's getting all these attacks. He has hatred. He wounds on 4s no matter what. So I just thought that would have been a silly move to charge into him. What I should have done is maybe either just marched around, but I don't think there was really much area for him to move. If anything, is just move him up more, make you chaff him. I'm not sure. But in any case, I definitely didn't want to charge into him, and I figured I'd redirect into the Deep Watch. I honestly didn't think I'd make the charge, which would have been fine. I'd just move up a few inches. Or if I make it, I'm thinking, I'll have my magic phase. Maybe I can swing things in my favor, and I'll do enough damage between my attacks and stomps that I'll win or we'll tie and I'll stay there. Because besides your king, you're wounding me on 6s.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my thought. So I redirected. I actually passed my leadership 6 test to redirect.
Mm-hmm.
I redirected into Deep Watch. I rolled an 11, and Mark popped his banner, which is the Banner of Dismay, and he didn't roll high enough.
Rolled a 3. You need an 8.
Yep. So I actually made the charge, made the redirect, made the charge against all odds.
With that in mind, when Ryan, when he saw that, he also did charge in with the trolls to try to get the trolls in for that combat as well.
That was a Hail Mary, though.
And it was a Hail Mary, and it definitely was not full of grace. Over here, I chaffed up his Mangler Wrecking Team, so I think we're missing a marker here, because this is now Orcs and Goblins' turn. And
well, yeah, this is my turn anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't see the picture before, but so Mark did the smart play, which is not to just march the Slayers onto the Wrecking Team, and he didn't shoot the Wrecking Team either. He just moved the Slayers right in front of the Wrecking Team. So I moved through them. I didn't kill all of them, but I killed 4 of them, leaving 1 guy to pester me.
Took one for the team. Good job, boys. Good job. So here's the wide pick after movement. So I've got my Rangers now sitting behind because I ran all of 2 inches. I rolled snake eyes for their movement for the Rangers. So that's where the 2 Temic Summons now sit. And that's it. Looks like my opponent's starting to get ready to go ahead and lay some hurting on me. Now, I want to touch base on the Giant. This is where I think, Ryan, I really think you shined with what you did, because I wasn't even considering what you did. He marched through the building, giving it hard cover. Giving him hard cover, popping him through, even though it's really my wheelhouse, my powerhouse for shooting. I'm like, okay, I got this. If you go there, I'm like, I got this. And then he pops through. He goes, I'm going, crap. I seriously thought you were going to put him right in front of Junior. I seriously thought that. I'm like, go ahead, please, do it.
Yeah, no.
I was hoping against the hope, or keep you back there behind the building. And unfortunately, that just didn't happen.
And I think, I didn't do a whole lot. The Ferals moved behind the Trolls. I chaffed up the other 2 units with the Grotlings, hoping that the Spider could just grind with those Deep Watch a little bit till he gets help. And I do believe the Goblins finish off that last Slayer model.
That's exactly what happened.
With their bow shots.
That's exactly what happened. The unit of Goblins, not the guy with the shotgun. Not the chariots.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the shotgun couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Literally, I think he did 1 wound this entire game.
Yep.
But
and Magic, I don't think I did anything of consequence.
Nothing of consequence.
Yeah.
So over here, that's that move, which I thought was just brilliant. That's him shooting me with one of those 2 units. And here's how the board looks. Yeah, no, nothing really of note other than Spider and doing a good job of chaffing me up there in the middle.
Oh, I do get +1 strength on the Spider.
That's true. You did get +1 strength. The only thing that when I was playing you and you did that, because your big unit is behind your Trolls, I wasn't worried about your big unit.
I know that. Well, I think hindsight now being 2020, I just shouldn't have bothered charging with the trolls.
But even still,
Because
you chaffed them. You chaffed up the unit. I understand frenzy. You chaffed them up.
I agree. I'm saying if I didn't charge with the trolls, I could have marched them out of the way and then position my ferals better. But because they failed to charge, they only moved forward like 3 inches.
I'm with you now.
And then I had to move them behind them.
Got greedy. You got greedy.
I did.
So, let's see. Over here, this is from shooting. So, this is either a splatterer or the Git launcher for their crossbows. Does 1 wound, does another wound, and that was it. Close combat. It was a sad day for the Orcs and Goblins.
Very, very unexpected.
So I did 1 wound from shooting the turn previously, which I neglected to mention a moment ago. For my crossbows, I did 1 wound onto the Gargantula. Yeah.
Yeah, jeez. I was thinking averages, he should probably get a couple wounds through, mostly because of his king. Maybe he slips 1 through with the unit. And then I'm thinking I do kill a couple guys with my regular attacks. Maybe a goblin kills 1 because they're strength 5 on the charge. And then with stomps, maybe I kill another 2 or 3. And I either win or stick in combat. So Mark goes off the wall and kills the spider outright. He does 7 wounds. 7.
I did 5 wounds alone with a deep watch.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. So the king did 2, which is pretty average.
Yeah.
But he rolled 5 6s with a deep watch, and then at that point, because they're armor piercing, I have like a 6-up armor save, and I didn't make any of my armor saves, but I was just flabbergasted. So it wasn't like I lost combat, I broke. He just killed the spider outright, and I only did 1 wound, killed 1 guy.
Yep. So now it's Dwarves' turn 2. So here's how the board looks. I turn around, I charged into the trolls, I charged into the things chaffing me up there in the middle. I chaff up the giant a little bit more. I charged in to the chariots because, again, I was in their flank. Now I'm going to go back. So let me just show you. So that's that charge there. That's that charge there. There's that charge there. And that was it. These guys failed charged into the chariots. Which, give or take, I didn't care. But I do want to just go back quite a few picks here. So, all right. So if you look at that building, you see the Vengeance Seeker. You see where the chariots are. We sat there with a laser. It was undefinitive. I had the last wolf chariot. Okay, about a quarter of an inch. I could easily see.
Yeah, you got the corner basically.
Yeah. And there was no debates. I was like, it's there. I turn around. First off, I think I rolled like 11. But all you have to do is measure from closest point to closest point, even because then you have, as long as you make that, your movement's infinite.
Yeah, you needed an average roll, I think.
Yeah, I need a 7.
Yeah.
And that's what I got. So Junior goes into the sides of that. There's that failed charge. Over here, my crossbows killed 2. Let's see. Junior turned around and took out the chariots. One picture I'm missing here is Pac-Man died. I did 2 wounds to him. I only did 2 wounds to him using the organ gun, using the engineer. And only 1 got through, but that's all I needed was just that 1. Mm-hmm. And...
Not many units can take 2 rounds of organ gun shooting with an engineer attached to it.
There really is not. So that's a testament to that character right there. So, trolls. Trolls killed 4. I did 5 wounds. I am always impressed on how resistant trolls are to taking wounds.
That actually impressed me as well.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do more wounds than them.
And I think, and we forgot I had -1 to wound on me, but it's oops on my part. Or no, you did play.
I was wounding on 4s.
No, it was another combat. We forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I mean, so that worked well. Now, So they go charging into there. So again, it's not you move straight ahead anymore. You actually get a charge where I wheeled, made sure I could get all the way over, and then maximized. So now it's Goblins turn 3. And the Dwarves are on the warpath. The Dwarves are moving up. So Ryan calls out the Wog. And go ahead, Ryan, take it from here.
So the obvious charge is the giant charges the chaffing musketeers or whatever they're called, the marksmen, clan marksmen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I was kind of bunched up in the middle. I needed the orcs and crossbows to get out of the way, so they charged. They can only fit 2 guys in on the edge of his warriors with just hand weapons, shield, and throwing weapons. And then because of that, that freed up my general to also charge that same unit. And I needed like an 8 on Swift Stride, and I just failed with the general.
Well, 225.
Yeah. If he had gone in there, I think could have had a better chance of breaking that unit. Just because I have so many attacks with that guy. And I at least have 1 rank with the orcs. So there's a good chance I could break through and just at least get my general and those orcs out of the way. I also tried to get the scrap wagon into the deep watch. It kind of came up short, so it's just chaffing it up. And then the totemic summon went into the rangers. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and my BSB, because his miners came on near my war machines, is going to go defend the war machines and get in front of those guys.
That's what my engineer does.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you this question. Why did you charge flank the deep watch? Or try charging them into the other deep watch?
So you're talking about the orcs with crossbows?
Yes.
Because I looked at it, and if I charged the flank of the deep watch, I was only going to get like a couple guys in on the end.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I mean, I'd cancel out your ranks because I would disrupt you, but I'm still thinking you're going to just obliterate those feral orcs, and it's just a lost cause. I'm just feeding you another unit. Whereas if I did the double charge with the general and them into the warriors, I'll get those points and also get them out of the center and keep those points, and maybe they can go around and do something else.
Okay.
That was my thought. I mean, these were all like Hail Mary charges at this point, because Mark's charge with his deep watch into the trolls, he needed like a 10 on Swift Stride, so it wasn't even one I was truly expecting him to make, and he made it. And
boxcars.
Yeah, and I was backpedaling at this point, and it was like, all right, well, let's see if I can pull something out of my hat here.
All right. So there's so this is your turn. So he finally killed one with a shotgun.
Yay!
Hits on 4s, wounds on 4s, -2 to armor, and he finally killed one. I felt for him. I think we've all had those bad dice games. Over here, that was, I think, a splatter that was a catapult again.
Just one dwarf at a time. One dwarf at a time.
This is combat.
So, this is my giant. I named him Ned. Ned goes in here and he yells and balls, which normally is probably the worst thing you can roll, but it's actually not bad here because I win by 2. He's not steadfast. And because I cause fear, it's a -3 basically to his leadership test. So he needs to roll a 6 to stay. Well, of course, Mark rolls 4. Low enough to stay.
I rolled 4. I rolled 2 2s.
Otherwise, odds have it he'd break and I could chase them, and that would have put me into the organ gun. But oh well. That's what I was hoping for.
So I ended up reforming and just forming up 2 ranks and sliding over. Over here,
pillow fight. Do you do any wounds to me?
Nope.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's a total pillow
There's
fight.
A total pillow
I think
fight.
we whiff. He has an extra rank, but I charged, and so we just stick. It's tied combat, and I reform to get ranks and kind of shift over.
And I shift over just to get more combatants. All right, so.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yes. Well, this happened during the shooting phase. I just didn't take a picture until after the fact. So, I charged in last turn, during my turn, and I broke his chariots, and I chose not to pursue. The chariots took 1 wound.
Mm-hmm. And they fled off
charge,
the board.
Flank, fled off the board. And so I reformed. He launched 2 mad gits right through my Seeker. Did 1 wound each.
Yep, that wasn't enough. but the bows.
Did 1 wound.
Yep.
No, did 2 wounds, and I saved one of them.
Yep, the bows finished him off finally.
And the Totemic Summons had gone into my Rangers, and I actually rolled far to get away after I lost that combat because he quote unquote charged.
Right.
I did 1 wound, so I lost by 2. I rolled something ridiculous. I broke. I fled, and I got eaten.
Yeah, Totemic Summons. Woo!
Yep. So let's see. Up here for that combat we just talked about, and then there's that. I killed 6. You killed 0.
Yeah, so this was surprising for a number of reasons. I actually expected you to kill more.
I did. So did I.
You killing only 6, I was kind of surprised by. But me killing 0 is just flat out ridiculous. Because even with 6 across, I'm getting 30 attacks.
I think I made 5 saves.
Because 4. You made 4 because I rolled. I remember this because we just played this game. I had 30 attacks. Average says I hit with 15. I hit with 8. Then I'm wounding on 4s. We actually forgot this. I actually was rolling to wound on 3s, and I wounded with 4 out of 8, which is still below average. But it didn't matter. Even though he had the spell off and we forgot about it, he made all 4 of his armor saves. So I did literally 0 wounds. He charged, and 6 wounds is enough that I'm auto-breaking. And I rolled an 11 to get away. And Mark was like, "Oh well, I think they're off the board." But then he rolled to pursue and he rolled a 12 anyway, so it didn't even matter.
So with that said, it's a Dwarven Holds massacre. It really was. And let's go to the MVPs. So right now, I let Ryan choose the MVP for the Dwarven Holds. It's going to be Deep Watch, and let's see if I guess correctly. It's because I took out Spider, the Trolls, and the Feral Orcs.
Yeah. I mean, they overperformed big time on the Spider. That was crazy. And then, I mean, they actually didn't do as much as I thought they would against the Ferals or the Trolls.
Nope.
But because you got the charge off, you did more wounds than you normally would, and they were speedy. And the static res helped break both those units. So.
Yep. And for me, the Goblins turned around and they finished off the Seekers, killed the Vengeance Seeker, and there's still a couple Mad Gits going around with the bows. I'm surprised you didn't go for the bow shots into the organ gun.
I couldn't. I had to kill the Vengeance
That's right.
Seeker.
That's right. You had to kill the Vengeance Seeker before he charged you.
Because my Mad Gits weren't enough.
And then the Systemic Summons because it took out the Rangers. Overall, I think I need to take your dice out and shoot them, or hit them with a hammer or something violent with those dice because they did not serve you well today.
No, this was not a good game for them. But I also have to say, and Mark and I were talking about this, that the counter thrust deployment I was not prepared for at all, and I really messed myself up in deployment. I mean, at this size game with my list, it's very hard to deploy 1v1. I'm used to deploying with these type of games. Either my opponent puts everything down first and I'll react, or we go back and forth maybe 2 or 3 times and then I deploy everything. I just didn't leave myself enough room, and there's limited space, and I think I just messed myself up. Whereas at 4,500 or 5,000 points, it's a lot more manageable. The deployments are a little bit more symmetrical. I have more practice with it, and I just think this showed me that I wasn't prepared for this counter thrust deployment and what I would do. So I'm glad I had the practice, and then just the dice on top of it.
You know what? If you had stacked one side against me, it would have been better off. And I probably would have stacked this side over by the war machines.
That's what I was actually thinking about doing, and then for some reason, I just didn't do that. I think I was trying to psych you out too much about being like, oh, where's he going to deploy this unit, and not have you know. I was concerned you would see what I was doing.
No, when you put them behind the Trolls, I'm like, all right, different. And the whole reason, and one of the things Ryan and I talked about was, why'd you put the Spearmen over there? I'm like, so if I didn't, and all of a sudden you finished deploying after me, and you put your big unit of Feral Orcs Well, that's easy. 800,000 points of war machines that you're, and plus the seekers and all that other stuff over there that you're going to get that I don't want to give you, but you're going to get no matter what. Before I can turn around and get my rest of my army over, in which case I still have other things in your list I need to deal with before I can turn around and redress my ranks. And I'm so slow as a dwarf that you actually have potential to do all this damage and then run around me, even with your current list. All right, because you have musicians and things like that where I don't take that because of the points. But I play a style list that's able to keep everything basically in front of me.
Yeah, and I think the one other thing we talked about too is, as much as shamanism is a good lore, and I really like it, and I think it helps me in my games. I think Mark made a good point that pyromancy might be better. I don't have a lot of chaff. My army is mostly anti-chaff. I have a lot of things that can take it out. But to his point, if in Magic I can take out chaff with like Pyroclastic Flow and stuff like that, Scorching Salvo, then I can focus all my shooting on other things.
Exactly.
And just pick apart units like Deep Watch to whittle it down a little bit.
I definitely think that'd be better. Well, thank you so much for joining us.